Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into something absolutely fascinating. We're looking at a truly radical blueprint from the ancient world for hitting the ultimate economic reset button every 7 years. We're talking about Deuteronomy chapter 15 and its completely mind-blowing approach to wealth and poverty.
So it starts with a pretty massive question. How exactly did the ancient world handle crippling debt? Well, rather than just letting poverty turn into this permanent generational trap, Deuteronomy 15 set up this incredibly bold, cyclical system for financial and social relief. It's like a giant pressure release valve for the whole economy.
The absolute bedrock of this whole system is a massive financial reset that kicks in at the end of every 7-year cycle. Just take a second and imagine living in an economy where debt has a strict universal expiration date. Pretty wild, right? At the heart of all this was what they called the Lord's release. Basically, this was the mandatory cancellation of debts owed by a neighbor or a brother at the end of that 7th year. I mean, think about our modern world of compounding interest and endless payments. This was a massive departure from that, literally forcing creditors to wipe the slate completely clean.
Now, there was a bit of a catch here. While debts owed by foreigners could still be collected, debts within the immediate community, to a brother or a neighbor, those had to be forgiven entirely, zero balance. The main goal here, to ensure collective prosperity and really stop a permanent underclass from forming right inside their own gates. But okay, if you're thinking like an economist, this creates a huge potential loophole, doesn't it? Like what happens to lending when that 7th year of debt cancellation is right around the corner? If you know a borrower's debt is legally going to vanish next year, human nature tells you to, well, just keep your wallet shut.
Well, the ancient text actually anticipated this exact loophole. Lenders were explicitly commanded to lend generously and without what the text literally calls a wicked heart. Basically, by acknowledging that systemic poverty is just an ongoing reality, active charity and community survival had to completely override simple financial math.
And this reset, it didn't just stop at financial debt. It actually spilled over into the realm of human labor, too. So let's take a look at the rules for freeing servants.
This mandate actually capped Hebrew servitude at 6 years. The second year 7 hit, the servant went free. And the best part? They definitely didn't leave empty-handed. It functioned almost like a mandatory enforced severance package. Freed servants were generously supplied with livestock, grain from the threshing floor, and goods from the wine press so they could restart their lives. It was actually designed to directly mirror their own historical redemption from Egypt.
Now, on the flip side, if a servant actually loved their master and actively chose to stay for life, they underwent this very specific, very permanent physical ritual. The master would take an awl, like a sharp metal tool, and literally pierce it through the servant's ear straight into the door. It served as this highly public, physical mark of lifetime servitude by choice.
Moving beyond debt and labor for a second, we have to remember that the ultimate source of wealth in the ancient world was agriculture. It was the whole shebang. So naturally, the text establishes some pretty strict rules for managing livestock prosperity.
When it came down to firstborn animals, they had a very specific system. Unblemished males were completely sanctified to the Lord. They couldn't be worked, and they were eaten yearly in a specially chosen place. But blemished animals, say ones that were lame or blind, those weren't sacrificed. They were just eaten locally within their own gates. This whole practice was mandatory, essentially serving as a massive recurring reminder to the people of where their wealth truly came from.
So as we wrap up this explainer, it really leaves us with a fascinating, kind of provocative question to ponder. I mean, we live in a world entirely built on continuous, never-ending credit. So how does this ancient, mandated, 7-year reset challenge our modern assumptions about compounding debt and the idea that poverty has to be permanent? It's definitely something to chew on.